So we all may have heard about the Avatar Live Remake Netflix made a while back. Some of you may have watched it, some of you may not have watched it. Shoot, there are even some of you that have not watched the original, and to you I say, you need to leave! Nah, I'm just playing. But for real, disclaimer, if you haven't watched the OG, this is not the video for you. Take this as your spoiler alert. And to those that have watched the live Avatar remake, I know, it's okay. Don't get me wrong, guys. The things that actually make the remake really good, like the music, that's top tier. The building's environment and basic cinematography, 10 out of 10. Outfit accuracy, stellar. The effects and the bending, they couldn't have done a better job, especially the fire bending. What I like personally is how they decided to show the people actually getting burnt by the fire. I remember watching the first episode and actually feeling bad for the captured earthbending soldiers. Looking at these things, you can already see how it does 100 times, 275 times better than the movie that shall not be named. But even with that impressive catalog, it still misses the mark. And you know what bothers me? Even though the only thing that's making this live Avatar remake miss the mark is just one thing, it's a crucial thing that makes Avatar Avatar. And the thing that's making Avatar miss the mark is the writing, the dialogue, the storytelling. No. Sometimes it just feels weird, misplaced, and rushed. And one more thing, guys, before you guys run to the comment section. Don't forget, this is a sketch and rant. I sketch as I rant. Don't take it too seriously. It's just my opinion. Some of you may agree with what I say, and others may not. Okay, so while the remake was still in production, even before, we heard how the writers were looking into making some minor changes to the existing characters and story, diving deeper into some character story and even adding some new characters. As a fan, I was actually excited, looking to see how they would change up the story a bit. But looking at what they did now, nah, you guys can take it back. Some of the changes just don't make sense. Again, the story just feels weird and rushed, with parts of the story being misplaced. Prime example of what felt misplaced was the whole Spirit World episodes. Yes, we're making a jump to these episodes, even though they're only the 5th and 6th episodes of the live action remake. But because they are the prime example, we're gonna start with them. We'll touch on what happened before a bit later.
No human belongs in this realm.
Yes, this is he, Wan Shi Tang, he who knows 10,000 things. You may be wondering, what is he doing so early in the story? Well, me too, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense, it feels weird. He doesn't build to the story like how he did in the original, being in the whole library and actually having the knowledge of the solstice. In the remake, he's just here as a guide and a warning to the dangers of the spirit world. So what he did in the original is probably out the window for the remake. There are also parts of the swamp episode from the original in this spirit world episode. You see, in the original, Katara and Sokka see visions of their lost loved ones, but Aang sees an unknown person, showing how this is someone who he is going to meet. Now, instead, what we have is Sokka sees a mysterious fox in the spirit world. And this mysterious fox is Yue. Yes, my people, this is Yue. Now, in all honesty, they did this because of the change they made to Yue being part spirit, being healed by the moon spirit as a child, and is able to jump into the spirit world in her dreams to play mind games with Sokka. And to be honest, it's not that bad of a change. But at the price of the swamp episodes and what they actually were in the original, nah. So sadly, that's probably out the window as well. Okay, we're done with the Spirit World episodes for now. I want you guys to look at this scene and tell me how you feel. Because I don't know.
Water, earth, fire, air. Long ago, the 4 nations lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Only the Avatar, master of all 4 elements, could stop them.
I don't know, man. It just feels weird. I don't know. The iconic intro, word for word, bar for bar.
He copied my whole flow!
Said not by Katara, but by Grand. Now, if you think about it, there's nothing exactly bad about it. It's just, why Grand? We can sort of understand why Katara, she's narrating the story as being part of the story in the intro. But why Grand? And why not have this as the actual intro instead of putting it in the middle of the first episode. But nah, what really bothers me is this. Look at this.
He's more than the Last Airbender, aren't you? You are the Avatar.
Oh my God, bro.
My question is, who are you to hold this level of information? Who told you this? This is Gran. Your normal water tribe citizen. The only character that should make sense in knowing this early that this rando air kid with arrows is the Avatar is Boomy. Oh, don't worry. We'll get to his character in the remake soon. Be patient. Another change that felt weird was the Cave of Two Lovers episodes. Yes, another book 2. Wait, now that I think about it, they have this weird obsession with book 2 episodes and putting them in book 1 of the remake. Book 1 of the remake doesn't feel like book 1 because you have book 2 episodes trying to squeeze itself into book 1, leaving us with a weirdly written and misplaced book. If you guys like book 2 episodes so much, leave the episodes of book 2 where they actually worked in book 2. It makes you wonder, what is Netflix going to do with remaking book 2? But anyway, in the original, this is an episode that serves as that spark between Aang and Katara. Shoot, it's in the name of the episode, Cave of Two Lovers. The two lovers that were there back then, and the soon-to-be lovers that are there right now. Accompanied by the goofy shenanigans of Sokka and the singing nomads. It was nice to have this episode as its own episode in the original, because even though these are characters that won't be seen again for the whole story of Avatar, they still contributed to the story while being that episode that gives us a break from the main storyline of Aang trying to end the war, you know? But nah, in the remake, we got it more as a side mission for Katara and Sokka to go through instead. Yes, Katara and Sokka. Aang, you may be asking where Aang is. He's still with Boomy. Now don't worry, we're gonna get to him soon. Be patient. And to be honest, I do understand what they were trying to do. Love isn't the only type of love that you would have romantically. There's also family love, sibling love, friend love, you know? And I can appreciate that. But when you have a cave of two lovers and you send a brother and a sister in that cave, I'm not even gonna continue. We still gotta appreciate Netflix throwing in the secret tunnel. But what that episode does for Aang and Katara's relationship, sad to say, it's probably out the window as well. Another thing, it's not only the book 2 episodes that are being brought so early, it's also the book 2 characters. My question is, why are May and Ty Lee here? Even though the whole crew, the whole gang, Azula, May, and Ty Lee are characters that only arrive in book 2 of the original, I do like the change of bringing Azula to book 1 of the remake and the effects that she has in the remake, the changes that she brings along in book 1 of the remake. More on her later. But my question is, why are May and Ty Lee here? They don't do much. Matter of fact, they don't do anything at all other than being friends to Azula and telling her what to do and what to feel. These are characters that actually have their own character, you know, their own likes, dislikes, habits, and skills that made them who they are. And seeing them for the first time in book 2 of the original, you could see this. It made sense for Azula to use them as stepping stones because that's in Azula's character, that's in Azula's nature. But now we got the writing using them as stepping stones for Azula's character. But I don't know, man. Let's see what Netflix has for us in book 2 of the remake. Who knows? Maybe they take from book 3 of the original to put in book 2 of the remake. You might see the painted lady, or I don't know, Hama. But anyway, besides their obsession with book 2 happening in book 1, another thing that changed clearly in this live remake is the bending. And yes, I say clearly because it looks absolutely stunning. It's actually good. But what I want to talk about is how I don't like how it relies on energy and feelings. You see, bending, even though it's a magic system, is something that's done with actual technique and somehow follows the laws of physics that we as a viewer can understand to some extent. It's like studying martial arts because they actually reference existing martial arts. Even the creators don't like when it's called a magic system.
Magic trick, do it again. Not magic, airbending.
What the remake does, it makes bending scenes where Katara is just told to focus on the energy and the feeling when it comes to bending kinda iffy.
The monks told me bending is about energy and balance. By feeling the energy around you, you can find balance. By finding balance, you can feel the energy.
Instead of actually explaining the technique, shift your way through the stances. That sort of made sense because it's like studying a martial art, I can sort of understand it when we see Aang explain this to her because Aang is a bender. But please tell me, why do we have, of all people, Jet telling her what to do like he knows what it's all about? Bro, who invited this nigga? This inclusion of energy and feeling talk can sort of feel iffy, and I guess this can be a bit more personal because I can't really enjoy bending the same way I did understanding the actual technique, shift your way through the stances. So there I can say it just feels iffy, and I don't know. But where I do draw the line is scenes like this. No, listen to this.
It's blind. They don't navigate by sight, but by feeling.
Oh my God, bro.
They sense feelings and react.
Guys, the badger moves. Instead of actually feeling the earth and the minor vibrations and earth bending through that actual technique, they instead sense the feeling and the anger and nah, I've had enough. I almost threw my PC away. And one thing they did in the remake, which I never thought the writers would do in an Avatar remake, was having the story copy what other movies and series are having these days, trying to have its own girl boss moments with Katara. Now let me explain, because it doesn't actually start off like that. She actually goes through some training and development and somewhat improves as a bender, in all honesty. Even though they didn't show exactly how Katara struggled to bend in the events leading up to the pirate episode in the original, they still included scenes where Katara is struggling, learning, and trying to get the hang of bending. That we have to appreciate. Y'all did good there, Netflix. Where they messed up is having Katara immediately become a master in the end. In the original, after Paku and Katara have that fight, Paku actually realizes the wrong in what he has been doing and actually teaches Katara, which then turns Katara into a master. In the remake, Paku doesn't teach her. After the fight, Paku doesn't teach her. Yet she got the audacity, the gall, to say something like this.
You found a master, haven't you?
Yes. You're looking at her.
How? No one has taught you anything. Shoot. The boss girl effect is so strong in Katara, it's influencing and affecting other characters around her. In the remake, when the Fire Nation is out here making their attack on the north, she still tries to convince Paku to let her fight, still with no fighting training. But this time she thinks, nah, let me bring the women from the healing hut to convince him. What I'm trying to say is the story is out here trying to push that women can fight too. Yes, women can fight too, but only if they know how to and have that experience. These are civilians with no fighting experience that you want to put in the front lines. That's just going to make things worse with more deaths. I say the boss girl effect is so strong that it affects other characters. It has affected Paku. How do you, as a water-bending master, know that Katara and the women in the healing hut don't have that necessary fighting experience, yet still allow this to happen, yet still allow them to fight? Nah, as the chief of the tribe, I'm looking at you with a bombastic shoot. It's even out here affecting other rando characters in the series. Look at this.
You can start by reinforcing that section. If you spot any incoming fireballs, don't try to take them on yourself. Let me know.
Yes, Master Katara.
What? From what? Master from what? She has not been told. You would have thought Netflix would pick up on things like this from the original. And there's a reason why I refer to the original so much, because that's what it is, a live action remake. The only difference is the live action part. Now wait, don't get me wrong. Before you get to the comment section, wait, don't get me wrong. It doesn't have to be a carbon copy. Some might say it shouldn't be a carbon copy. We always appreciate the creative story writing, storytelling changes that are made to make the story better. I mean, look at Alice in Borderland. It did way better than the original. But when you cut away the good that made the original good, it makes us wonder, what Avatar did you watch? Oh nah, don't tell me you watched the movie that shall not be named. Apparently Netflix isn't new to this, ladies and gentlemen. Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, Cowboy Bebop. Nah, I just heard it was bad. Personally, I haven't watched the original. Hey, that's not the point. I thought things would have been different now, with Brian and Mike being on the project. But we should have seen it coming when they left the project. Netflix can't... They can't keep getting away with this. We need to get to the bottom of this and find who is responsible.
You can't keep getting away.
But wait, guys, even though that's what makes the remake hard to watch, it's still somewhat of a good remake. Let's not overlook the good the remake actually has. And let's not overlook how it's 275 times better than the last remake. Compared to the last remake, Netflix's remake is a slam dunk. M. Nights couldn't even dribble.
Oh!
Shoot, there were even times where I had to defend. Yes, defend Netflix's remake. Some people were pointing out how M. Night's remake looked more realistic with the outfits, while Netflix's remake looked more like cosplay, talking about how they look too bright. Like, huh? Avatar is a show that is very bright and colorful and has good outfit design, having their own twist from the source material. And Netflix captured that perfectly. Netflix captured that beautifully. M. Night just did a copy-paste. But other than that, there were things and changes that Netflix made that I loved. First thing, the effects, especially the bending, the fire bending. Every fight was just hype to watch, you know? Much better than the bending we got with M. Night. What makes this scene worse is that bro got hit. Even the creatures, nah, say what you want, Netflix is equipped with the PCs. I know mine cannot compare. Another thing that I love that Netflix did differently is Aang and Gyatso's relationship. Even though it wasn't exactly like how it was in the original, that's not a bad thing. What I loved was their reunion that they had in the spirit world. Legit almost brought a grown man to tears. When I tell you I was tearing up, I was tearing up. I like the change they did with Azula, showing how she is more worried about what her father thinks of her and how she's sometimes compared with Zuko. In the original, Azula is no way getting compared to Zuko. Like, come on now, come on. But I like how Netflix decided to show how Azula is being worried about what her father thinks of her and basically the mind games that Ozai plays on his own children. I also like how Netflix had that change with a slight change with Zuko having the notebook and relics of the Avatar to show that real determination to finding the Avatar, you know? Shoot, I like the whole Masks episode as a whole. Like, that was my favorite episode, diving into Zuko's backstory, his actions, even though they got him burned, literally. It saved his crew. To be honest, I think Zuko and his actor in particular carried the whole series, you know? The story and the writing, the skills and choreography. When I tell you each fight slapped. Matter of fact, the whole cast is great. Not only do they look the part, they're passionate about being in the project. Wait, hold on. Isn't that General Fong? The acting was never the problem. When they told me Paul Sun Hyung Lee, forgive me if I mispronounced that, was acting for Iroh, I was hyped. Guys, have you not seen Kim's Convenience? But I'm not gonna lie to you, watching the first episode was especially difficult. Like, bro, if I hear you say Jasmine T one more time. Nah, for real, the actors are really putting in the effort into their characters with the lines they are given. You can see that.
Zhao,
Whatever you do to that spirit,
I'll unleash on you tenfold.
Some actors are even slipping out of character just to sell the script.
I swear I will not rest.
Oh, calm down, Jamal.
And you know what else is there to like? This video. go ahead and drop a like if you're enjoying the video so far. While you're down there, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you have not. So to make things clear, the only main reason why this live remake ain't really it is because of the writing, the pacing, the dialogue, the weird story choices. Even before it came out, you could tell something was gonna be off. Even with the decisions they made with some characters. I'm particularly talking about Sokka and how they didn't want him to be how he was in the original. You know, another attempt at trying to make the series woke. It's good how they had that change to Sokka, showing more of his engineering side, but it's bad when the key thing is removed. That's where his key character development came from. Him realizing that it's wrong to be that way he was and becoming better because of that. You know, that's prime character growth. Avatar's known for that prime character growth. But I guess it was okay that they at least kept his ladies' man's side. I mean, he had Suki being all types of stalker on him and being down bad for him. We see what you did there. You are not slick. He had Yue making trips to the spirit world just to see him and play mind tricks on him. Fun in the spirit world. Stop it. Shoot, it's probably the reason why Ty Lee's book 1 so early. She just doesn't know it yet. She doesn't know it yet. But even with the dialogue and the writing and the pacing being bad and weird, there's still some things that the remake did that, to be honest, I personally didn't like. Personally, they could be overlooked because I'm a diehard Avatar fan, but at the same time still kind of makes sense because I am a diehard Avatar fan. Yes, this is where we finally talk about him. King Bumi. In the remake, his character's changed to show that bitterness, being affected by the war, which is some that I don't like. King Bumi is a character known as a mad genius, always thinking outside the box. While everyone else has that gloomy mentality of the war, Bumi serves as that character for Aang to learn from, you know, think outside the box. You know? And yeah, like I said before, this is something that's more personal. I can see the creative change, but I personally don't like it. I just know for a fact that this is not Bumi. You want to tell me Bumi, a powerful earthbender, has been taken out by this? Nah, inexcusable. One thing I also didn't like was that love triangle with Han, Yue, and Sokka. In the original, Han is this cocky and arrogant character. Bro, he won't even listen to Sokka. Sokka, someone who has been in battle in recent fights with Fire Nation soldiers and actually has that experience to tell how they look. Han won't listen to Sokka. He serves as what majority of the men in the water tribe are and shows how their thinking is wrong. Being this proud and arrogant person is wrong, but because she is trying to keep to her tradition and her father's wishes, she stays in that arranged marriage. Yue stays in that arranged marriage. It's when Sokka arrives at the North Pole where she actually gets to know him, and Yue starts to have a change of heart, seeing how Sokka's character, especially during its development, stands out from the rest, going back to that edge that Sokka has as a character over the rest of the men in the water tribe. In the remake, Han isn't the Han we know. To be honest, he's actually a good guy, making the effort to learn from Sokka about the Fire Nation soldiers. He's actually a good guy. Yue rejects him because she just feels Sokka more. Now, there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with liking someone more than someone else. Hey, that's just your own taste. We can't blame you for that. It's just a shame for my boy Han, though. I know it ain't easy for him whenever he sees or talks to her. Probably up late every night thinking about the one that got away. F in the chat for my boy Han. This is just saddening. Now, what I also don't like is the inaccurate display of bending skills sometimes. Like, I'm not the only one. I know for a fact I'm not the only one who wanted to see how Gyatso took down all those firebenders the day the Fire Nation wiped out the air nomads. But I can't help but feel robbed of the scene. And with Aang, I know it especially hurt seeing Aang getting pieced by Zuko. No, what is this? What I also didn't like was the missing story parts. I know I wasn't the only one asking that one important question in the episode they were entering Omashu. Where's Pippin Papalapsacopolis? The third. You would have thought Netflix cut it out. But now you're not gonna believe where they put it. Look at this.
Does she have a name? Well, maybe we can come up with one for her. How about Pippin Paddleopsicopolis?
Oh my god, bro.
The third.
Hell no, man. What the
One thing to point out is that this isn't the only thing that's cut out of the live remake. A lot of what makes book 1 was cut out, particularly the filler, Imprisoned, the waterbending scroll, the Great Divide, the Storm, the Fortune Teller, Bartow of the Water Tribe, and the Deserter. I mean, you can understand why. These are more of the quote-unquote filler episodes, and PCs can only do so much. But these are the episodes that we still enjoyed, because besides episodes like these making book 1 what it is, these are episodes that show that development of each character, especially episodes like the Deserter. But who knows, maybe these episodes show up in book 2. Let's just be patient and see what Netflix comes up with. Another thing that I don't like, that's a bit more personal, is still on the bending and the bending inaccuracy. Hear me out. They definitely got it down in the effects. These effects are stellar. In the original, this is a magic system that's based on reality. It's not even a magic system anymore. These are bending styles that, like I said before, pull from existing martial arts. Tai Chi that inspires water bending, Hungar Kung Fu that inspires earth bending, Northern Shaolin Kung Fu that inspires fire bending, and Ba Gua that inspires airbending. They even showed how this fighting style evolved into a more MMA tricking and b-boy fighting style in Korra with bending and pro bending, and how bending and the fighting style have become more modernized, As a diehard fan, I'd research these moves and set up my phone and practice these moves, going through these moves. You laugh, but because of that, I'm a weapon of mass destruction. Don't mess with me. You guys are lucky bending doesn't actually exist. However, I am still not to be trifled with. Shoot, I'd even call out and recognize the specific moves. It's low-key what's missing in Netflix's live remake, Yeah, I understand that not everyone can perform these moves. For the original, the animators had to study and reference a handful of real-life masters to get those moves as a reference. In the live remake, even Kiyoshi looks powerful and dangerous. Kinda looks iffy. She looks like she's just waving around, And we still do appreciate how the actors tried these poses and moves and put in the effort, and how the writers actually tried to get actors with a martial arts background, which made the fights actually great to watch. But I think it got to a point where Zuko was spamming the same 540 kick over and over again. To be honest, I don't think that's a 540 kick. I just can't remember what kick that is exactly. Let me know down in the comments if you know what kick that is exactly. But anyway, you get my point. Again, this is more personal. I'm just that much of a martial arts geek that I notice these things. But there are some scenes where the bending is actually inaccurate. We're going back to Katara. You want to tell me that from trying to bend the boat towards her, she accidentally breaks the ice holding Aang? Nah. Another thing, Azula's lightning. The OG was one thing. The remake was something else. And then again, the feeling and energy of bending. It's one of those things that made Avatar a loved series, which makes us think and wonder if Avatar, not only Avatar, but other anime and series like Avatar, can really be remade. But anyway, I could probably just be overthinking it, just a tad bit. That's just my opinion. As a true Avatar fan, I think I should start wrapping things up, My PC can only take so much. In all honesty, me personally, regarding Avatar content, I'ma just wait for the animated movie of the adult team Avatar coming out next year. Probably the only thing I can look forward to with optimism. If you were to ask me, I'd say as someone who's only watched the original, you don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch the live remake. You're not gonna miss out on anything. It's all good, bro. If you want to, you can go ahead, but you're not gonna miss out on anything if you don't watch the live remake, Netflix's live remake. And as someone who hasn't watched either and wants to know which to watch, don't do that to yourself, bro. Watch the original. And let's hope Netflix can pick up from their trend and just stop live actioning our beloved Wait, is that what I think? Oh no. What the fuck?